Hi, today I have a few study tips for you, especially at this time studying from home. I know it's really hard to keep concentrated and keep focused and to have even motivation to keep going, so I hope I'll help you a little bit with these tips I've accumulated over the years. I hope you enjoy!
The first thing that I like to do each morning when I schedule my tasks is to think about how I can prioritize them. Basically, I like to ask myself 3 questions. 1. What's the most urgent task today? 2. What task is going to make me the most satisfied? 3. What task would I most enjoy doing today? This way, I'm making sure that at the end of the day, if I completed all of my tasks, I would feel productive and satisfied with what I did, but also like I did something that was fun and something for myself. By the way, if you find this useful, I can also upload this as a template. Just tell me in the comments. So, on this particular day, my most urgent tasks were to finish preparing my 2 seminars and to finish a set of volunteer work that I was doing. The tasks that were going to make me the most satisfied were learning languages. I wanted to read a chapter in French, as well as make a pro-con list regarding whether I should start learning a new language, like Italian or Spanish. I also have a video on learning languages if you're interested in that and how I do it on my own. The task that I would most enjoy that day would just be board games with my family and making some t-shirt designs because I recently got into that and it's really cool. What I also like to do is when I've written down all these things in their different categories was to choose one highlight. A highlight should be about 60 to 90 minutes because it should allow your brain to get into a zone where you're really concentrated and focused, into a state of flow. If you have multiple little tasks, you could also bundle them together. For example, if you have to fill out forms or do something that's quickly finished, you can bundle them up into a big set of tasks for 1 hour. The next tip that I have for you is habit stacking. You wake up, what do you do next? Do you stand up, make your bed, take a shower, brush your teeth, dress up? Try thinking of your daily habits. The key to forming new ones is to add onto those daily habits already ingrained in your routine. By noting down when you will do something, as in after which activity that is already part of your day, for example, and where you will do it, you're a lot more likely to actually do the thing. So try to think of a few productive study or skill habits you want to incorporate into your day, like drinking more water, reading more, learning a language, and so on. Be specific about what exactly that entails though. Note down how many glasses of water, how many minutes of studying, or how many pages of reading. And you can see how I basically do this. I just write down what I want to do and when I want to do it. For example, when I finish eating breakfast, I want to work out after brushing my teeth. This way, you have a clear incentive and you have a clear call to action. And your brain is so much more likely to actually follow that. They've even made so many studies on this topic that have shown again and again if people pick a right time and a right place for the action, they're so much more likely to do it. And it's a lot easier to incorporate habits into your routine than to think of a completely new routine or to completely change your day around. Because it shouldn't be like that. It's completely okay to take it 1 or 2 steps at a time and to think of some habits that would really improve your lifestyle or improve your grades. The third tip is identity building. The key to actively changing your behavior and really sticking to those new habits, or your new and improved study routine you'll definitely keep, is to change your identity. Okay, that sounds a bit radical. But what it means is that we are what we do. Your idea of yourself is built upon your actions and the narrative you've formed around them. But that also influences your actions and can be a bit of a hellish cycle. If you don't do anything for school or university all day, you might think of yourself as not a particularly studious person. And if you don't think of yourself as someone who cares a lot about academia all too much, you're less likely to actually sit down and study. So what you need to do is to change how you view yourself. You're not static, you can change. This is called adapting a growth mindset, which I'll talk about more at the end of the video. It's my tip number 8, so stay tuned for that. Write down what kind of person you want to become and what activities would follow with that. What would a studious person do? What would an active person do? What would a person do that's more extroverted? And so on. You can see a few examples I've written down for myself. And then soon, click, you won't be that kind of person in the future. You'll be the person now. This is the way new identity building works. You need to accept that you can be whoever you want to, and the only person that stops yourself from being that person is you and the habits you're currently implementing. By using this technique, you can turn yourself into the kind of person you want to be, into the productive, attentive, active person that you know you can be and that you have the potential to be. And click, and that you are. The next tip I have for you is more of a quick study tip. Next time you feel the need to get distracted and scroll down your social media feed, tell yourself you'll do it in 10 more minutes. That way, we are using a phrase that we use all the time for procrastination purposes to beat procrastination. In the same way, you can take it as an incentive to actually start a task though. Tell yourself that you only need to do it for 10 minutes, and if you don't like it, you'll stop. Chances are that won't happen, because even bringing yourself to sit down and actually start a task will be enough energy put into it that you won't want to stop and that you'll want to actually get it done. This 10-minute method can thus apply not only to avoiding procrastination, but also for boosting your own productivity. Another concept that is really useful for boosting your productivity is that of chronotypes. Every person has a chronotype, a specific way their internal clock is set. As you've noticed, some people love to get up absurdly early in the morning, while some like to get their well-deserved sleep. You can guess which one I am. Most studies sort according to morning person or evening person, but this particular article used an animal metaphor, which I really liked. The bear chronotype changes their sleep according to the sun. When the sun rises, they wake up. When it goes down, they get sleepy. Their most productive times are before noon. The wolf chronotype describes people that have trouble waking up in the mornings and go to bed later. Their peak productivity time starts at noon and ends at about 4 hours later, and they can get a lot more done in the evening. The lion winds down the evening at 9 or 10 p.m., but make up for it by rising very early though. Their peak is from that time when they rise up until noon. People that have trouble sleeping in general and following any sleep schedule due to light sleep have a peak productivity window from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Using this information can help you find the times where you can get the most work done and get your best work done as well. And also how you can get the sleep that will make you the fittest in the morning. Another quick study tip is to use the Pomodoro method of studying for 25 minutes and resting for 5. After 4 of these 25-minute work and 5-minute break sessions, you can take a longer break for 10 minutes. This helps your brain stay focused and attentive, but also gets you the rest you deserve. There are some very useful apps or websites for that basically keep track of the time for you, like for example this tomato timer.com or any alternative. Some people also like to mix this up. This website also gives you the opportunity to change the settings and change the times. But in general, the method just says that it's really important to keep a certain amount of breaks and to take a longer break if you've studied over a longer time. Long study sessions of 12 hours aren't only bad for your body, but you also don't actually get too much done if you don't take a break. Now, on to the topic of distractions. This tip is a bit more general. Whenever you feel like procrastination is getting the best of you, or like you just can't get anything done at all, try to think about the causes of that instead of pressing yourself further. Procrastination is just a sign of negative emotions you're trying to avoid, and generally, you shouldn't force yourself to study when you're not feeling good. Sometimes there is no clear cause, or none you can solve. What helps me then is to just write down everything that's going on in a stream of consciousness. Even having all of my thoughts visible before me takes a bit of the stress off my shoulders and explains why I can't really get anything done. Writing down what concerns you or just your thoughts for the day can be such a good method to give your mind a bit of the freedom and keep your mental health in check. Of course, productivity is important, but it should never come at the cost of your own mental well-being.
The last tip that I wanted to give you is that it's so important to adapt a growth mindset. What's a growth mindset? Well, basically a growth mindset means that you don't think about your results, you don't think about where you're at now, but more you focus on the future and where you will be in the future and what path you're on. So basically, instead of thinking about the grades you currently have, the way your body currently looks, or I don't know, the job you currently have, think about what you want to achieve in the future and what habits or what ways you could implement right now that would help you in the future with that. Instead of constantly focusing and setting goals, for example, to achieve this or that, you're basically setting yourself up either for disappointment because you couldn't reach the goal, or maybe for slacking off when you reach that goal. You're not unlocking your full potential, as weird as that sounds, by setting goals, even though maybe if you could just keep at it a little longer, you would be able to achieve so much more. So basically, that's why the habit stacking that I showed is so important. Because if you have those habits and if you try to change your life every day, just a few percentages, if you just read 1 page more, if you just exercise a bit more, if you just do this 1% more, then for example, in a year, it's going to be 365% of that with which you started. The same way, I love that metaphor in Atomic Habits by, oh god, I forgot the name, I'm going to link it in this description. But basically the metaphor says that if a plane has some sort of start city and an end city, and it keeps the trajectory with its head. But if it moves just a couple degrees at the starting point towards a different trajectory, then it's going to shoot off and land in a completely different city that might be miles away from the one. So, we're at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful for you. And if you did like it, please leave a like or even subscribe. That would mean so much to me. And, well, we're going to see each other in the next one. Bye. Stay safe until then. Bye.